In this video, we're going to be looking at comparing and ordering integers. You'll need to get out your Go Math book and turn to page 13 and get out your math journal and a pencil. Now, the essential question we're going to be looking at during this video is how do you compare and order integers? Now, let's look at the Explore activity on page 13. I want you to read along with me. It says the Westfield Soccer League ranks its teams using a number called the win-loss combination record. A team with more wins than losses will have a positive combined record, and a team with fewer wins than losses will have a negative combined record. The table shows the total win-loss combined record for each team at the end of the season. Now our first step, letter A, it says graph the win-loss combined record for each team on the number line. So let's do this together so we can see Sharks' win-loss combined record is 0. So we'll graph that, put a point on 0, and label it A. We get a thinner ink here. Jaguars, 4. So we'll graph that 4, and we'll call that B. Badgers, -4. So we'll graph that on -4. We'll label that C. Tigers, -6. You can see 6 left from 0. We'll graph that, and we'll label it D. Cougars, you can see a number of 2. So we'll graph that and label that E. Hawks, -2. We'll graph that on the number line. I want you to do that as well and label that F. And then finally Wolves, 6. Graph that and label it G. Now that we have all of the combined win-loss combined record for each team on the number line, that's all graphed out. Now we can start making some sense of the data that we're looking at. So it says, which team had the best record in the league and how do you know? Now I want you to write this answer down that I have on the video here. It says Wolves, their record is the farthest right on the number line. If you remember, up here at the top, a team with more wins than losses will have a positive combined record, and a team with fewer wins than losses will have a negative combined record. So we can see Wolves, we can see G, they have a number 6 representing their team. How do we know that it's the best record in the league? Their record is farthest right on the number line. Now let's take a look at letter C. Which team had the worst record? How do you know? So we can see on our number line, D goes all the way to the left, and the Tigers represent D. So I want you to write this down as well. Tigers, their record is farthest left on the number line. So you can see they have a number of -6. Now let's move down on page 13. It says explain what the data tells you about the win-loss records of the teams in the league. And I want you to copy this down. You may even have to pause this as you copy it down. So the Badgers, Tigers, and Hawks lost more games than they won. Why do we know that? Because they have a negative number. The Jaguars, Cougars, and Wolves won more games than they lost. How do we know that? They had a positive number. They're all to the right of the 0, meaning that they're positive. And the Sharks won the same number of games as they lost. How do we know that? Because they had a number of 0 representing their team. Now let's take a look at example 1. On page 14 it says Fred recorded the following golf scores during his first week at the Golf Academy. In golf, the players with the lowest score wins the game. So you can see all the different scores that Fred had Monday through Sunday. And it says graph Fred's score on the number line, then list all the numbers in order from least to greatest. So you can see you can take the data from the chart and you can graph this on the number line. And then step 2, read from left to right to list the scores in order from least to greatest. So all I have to do is take a look at from left to right on my number line, and that's how I can order my numbers from least to greatest. So -5, -3, -2, -1, 0, 3, 4. I want you to take a look at number 2. Now instead of going from least to greatest, they're asking you to go from greatest to least. So instead of going from left to right on the number line, you'll need to go from right to left, ordering the numbers. And I want you to do number 2 all by yourself. You'll graph those numbers and then just type in the numbers in order from greatest to least. Now I want you to check your answers with mine. I have 4, 2, 0, -3, -5, -6. And now I want you to do number 3 all by yourself. Graph the numbers and then list the numbers in order from greatest to least. Now you can see my answer: 9, 8, 5, 2, 0, -1, -6, and -10. So you can see when I'm ordering from greatest to least, I'm reading these numbers from right to left on my number line, and that's how I can order the numbers from greatest to least. Okay, now let's turn to page 15. We're going to be taking a look at writing inequalities. And we can see an inequality is a statement that two quantities are not equal. The symbol less than and greater than are used to write inequalities. Now let's look at the example 2 on page 15. It says in 2005, Austin, Texas received 51 inches in annual precipitation, or rain. In 2009, the city received 36 inches in annual precipitation. In which year was there more precipitation? So what we can do is graph 51 and 36 on the number line. So we know that 51 is to the right of 36 on the number line, so this means that 51 is greater than 36. So we can write the inequality 51 is greater than 36. Just a little tip: whichever way, picture that symbol as an alligator's mouth, and that alligator's mouth will always be pointing towards the larger number. So you can see 51 is greater than 36. The alligator is always looking to eat that larger number. And we also can see that 36 is to the left of 51 on the number line. So this means that 36 is less than 51. So we can switch the numbers and how we order them. We can write the inequality as 36 is less than 51. So you can see once again that alligator's mouth is open towards the larger number. So we can see that there was more precipitation in 2005. Now you take a look at letter B. It says write two inequalities to compare -6 and 7. So if I were to do this, I could write -6 first is less than 7, or I can write 7 is greater than -6. Once again, the alligator's mouth is open towards the greater number. So for letter C, write two inequalities to compare -9 and -4. Once again, the greater number will always be to the right on the number line. The less number that's less than the other one, will always be farther to the left. So we can see -4 is greater than -9. Once again, alligator's mouth open to the larger number. Or we could write it as -9 is less than -4. Once again, alligator's mouth is open towards the larger number. Now what I want you to do is complete number 4 all by yourself. Now you can see -10 is less than -2. And I want you to complete number 6 all by yourself. Now you can see that -7 is greater than -8. And now I want you to complete number 8 all by yourself. You can even refer back up to example 2, especially sections B and C, to see how this would work. So complete 8 all by yourself. So now you can see 39 is greater than -39, or you could write it -39 is less than 39. Now what I want you to do is turn over to page 16 and let's take a look at that essential question check-in. And I want you to write this down with me. How can you use a number line to compare and order numbers? And you can write this down. The numbers on a number line are in order from least to greatest as you move from left to right. Now this concludes the video on comparing and ordering integers. If you have any questions about this concept, please come and see me.